Today's lesson is all about where do sounds come from. Finding sound sources. Where do sounds come from? But before we begin our lesson, we will have a little game grade 1. You will tell me where do the sounds come from. So you will listen to the sound. Now answer the question, where do the sounds come from? The answer is yes, coming from birds. So, the sounds coming from birds. So, the sounds coming from birds. Then, another sound. Where do the sounds come from? Coming from airplane. Very good, grade 1. Now we are going to study the sound source. But what is sound source? Sound source, thing that makes a sound. So we will look for that thing. Now, look at the picture. There are lots of sounds here, so we can see many things in the picture. Now, we will search for that sound source. Now, listen carefully. Now, listen carefully. Where do sounds coming from? Yes, it is here. Listen again. Yes, he is hammering the roof using the hammer. Listen to the sounds. What sounds you hear? Yes. You will hear baby boys crying. Now you are now hearing this one. Now listen now. Where do sounds come from? Yes, from this side. Voices of the two ladies talking to one another. Next is playing flute. Next is birds chirping. Next is the sound of the airplane side. Next is the sound of the hammer. Next is the sound of the door. Next is the sounds of the car and the bicycle. So, now, do you see now where the sounds coming from and how many sources we can find in the picture? To sum up, there are lots of sound sources in the picture. Now, let us answer the book. How many sound sources can you find? Now, we will now look for the sound sources. Are you ready, grade 1? Vendor. The sounds coming from the vendor is selling his vegetables and fruits. Next is crying. Next is talking to her cell phone, using her voice. Remember, your voice is a sound source. Cat. See? The cat is making sound. Meow. Next is voice